Good God. I just want to say, I know 2 years ago, I said, don't do arm supported dumbbell rows, croc rows, and they weren't going to improve your deadlift. And that may be for some people. And for me at the time, I came up with that advice because my posterior chain was always lacking. So no matter how strong my dumbbell rows got up to, I was doing 300 plus croc rows. And my deadlift was weaker than it is now. But you can only get your back so strong until it's not going to do anything for your deadlift. You got to strengthen your hamstrings and your glutes and all that. But now that that's very strong, my posterior chain, right? My RDLs are the equivalent of my conventional deadlift. I think now it's a good time to transition back to these croc rows. Good Lord. So the reason I made the transition in the first place, guys, is because doing those behind the back deadlifts, my lats, my back wasn't sore, my legs weren't sore, my lats were so painful, I could hardly even lift my arms. That's how tight they were. Good Lord. So I figured, back in the good old days when I did behind the back deadlifts a lot, one of my main go-tos was the croc rows. So it was a winning recipe back then. Might as well start to incorporate the seasonings and sprinkle it back in and see what happens. But on top of that, as you can tell, holy buckets. You can't tell me your VO2 max is not going to increase from doing that, sucker. Jeez. One guy asked me what some of the best exercises for MMA. Well, let me tell you something. I've never done MMA, but I've done college wrestling. And these croc rows, heavy croc rows, are probably going to be one of the best, right? Because when you're wrestling, right, you're pulling and you're twisting and you're pushing and you're twisting and you shoot in and you're twisting, right? I mean, we're talking obliques to the max. I did these yesterday, 225 for 26 reps. You know what's sore on me today? Yeah, a little bit rear delts, bis, lats, but more so than anything, my obliques are cooked. Obliques, fellas. And I think a lot of us underestimate just how important obliques are in your strength, your squats and your deads and all that. Right? Your obliques are what help you keep your back from breaking and rounding like that. So if you have strong glutes and strong hamstrings, and that's your posterior chain is not your weakness, and you feel like, damn, like I can leg curl a ton, right? My hamstrings are strong like that. I can hip thrust a ton, right? Anything, whatever it may be. Well, maybe throw some croc rows in because, yeah, upper back mass, sure, but more so than anything, your obliques are going to be fried. And some people are going to say, you're not squeezing and retracting enough. Well, I'm definitely pulling it up there, but yeah, you get that little twist. Oh my God, does it cook your obliques? I've never felt anything in my obliques like these. I'm telling you, call it what you will. Don't even call it a row then, or don't call it a back exercise. But you can't say it's not an oblique exercise. Holy buckets, guys. Try it. Nothing's going to work your obliques like that. And another reason I started doing these rows in the first place too is because, that I'm doing more grip stuff. I want my grip strength to be strong so that I can really shove this grip right in Tom and Juji's ass. Just kidding. I love those guys. So there's no hostility. It's mainly I'm just upset with how weak my grip was back in the day. But I wanted to strengthen it. And I was like, well, if you guys know Ricky B, you know that I'm not about doing exercises that only hit one bird with one stone. I want that stone to hit 100 birds. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, what exercise is going to strengthen my grip but maintain my deadlift? And I've been doing so much pressing, bench press, for the past 3 or 4 months I've been benching. So I need to get my back really up to par. Otherwise, that's how shoulder injuries happen. So, I figure how many birds are hit with this? Biceps galore, obliques galore, lats galore, traps galore, grip galore. I mean, it's a great exercise. I mean, this is the ultimate compound exercise in my book. Man. So, but another thing too. So obviously I've been doing these sets of straps, but I do strapless. I'll do straps or I'll do no straps. So like for instance, I got up to 215 with no straps, but could only do it for like a one solid rep, and then it felt like it was rolling out of my hands. So then I throw the straps on. So even once I get up to 165, about I'll do no straps, and then for a few reps, 5 reps or so, then I'll put the strap on and I'll hit 10 reps or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too. People are like, oh, do you wear straps or no straps? If you want a strong grip, don't wear straps. No, guys. Again, it's just like the belt versus no belt argument. Don't use the straps for some sets, even the heavy sets. Use them until you need the straps, and then use the straps. You know what I mean? Same thing with the belt. Don't use the belt until it gets heavy, and then throw the belt on. It's common sense. Everyone's making things so black and white. And listen, I'm a victim of that myself. Some people say, what the hell, Rick? I thought you said don't do posted rows. I thought you said only do bent over rows. And I did say that, and that's my fault, because things aren't that black and white, right? Croc row is a great tool in the box. Bent over row, when you're not posting and your posterior chain has to hold you in position, is a great exercise, right? I think the moral of the story is the more exercises you have, the more tools in your box, good. They're all good. As long as they're hitting multiple birds with one stone. You feel me?